Good evening. Welcome to Seaford Board of Education meeting for December. Good to see everybody here tonight. I assume everybody's ready for the big occasion coming up in about 3 or 4 days. Ready to go. We've got quite a few things we've got to accomplish here tonight. Work with. Good to see everybody. And the time that we're coming in is 6 p.m. First item is the approval of the agenda. You all have a chance to look that over. The recommended action is to approve the agenda as presented.
This is Dara Savage. I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Mark Benson, my second. Been moved and second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. The third, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's take a moment of silence. Thank you. Item number 4 is approval of board minutes. We'll be approving the minutes for the November meeting on the 21st. Mr. Benson, you were not present, so everyone else can vote. The recommended action is to approve those minutes for the November meeting.
Marcus Wright, I move to approve the 11/21/2022 board meeting.
Dara Savage, second.
Been moved and second to approve the minutes of the November 21st, 2022 board meeting. All in agree, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Next item is public participation. Mrs. Anthony, we do not have any.
We do not.
All right, thank you very much. We will move on. Next item is awards and presentations. And I will turn that over to Dr. Nichols.
All right, thank you. Well, this evening, I'm sure the board can see that Mrs. Max is in the back, and she's learning how to do the board meeting. She's going to be the new secretary for the superintendent. With that said, it's a nice evening, I'm sure, for Mrs. Anthony. It's a tough one for the district. So just so everyone's aware, Terry's been with the district for 21 years. 8 years as the secretary of the superintendent. I made jokes at a luncheon about the time with Mr. Perry. I won't do that again. But Sherry, in my 3 years working with Sherry, she's someone who's extremely reliable, just knowledgeable of the position, knowledgeable of the district, the community. She's always been someone I can bounce ideas off of. And, you know, what I noticed every day, she truly cared about the students and the work here. Sometimes, you know, people may think that we're disconnected from the buildings that the district. She really had a good pulse for that. So with that said, Sherry, I'm sad to see that happy for your retirement. And for your retirement, if you could please come up, we do have a retirement gift for you. Okay.
I tried to hide it in my clothes.
I think Sherry was bathed this morning putting that together.
Well, good job. Well, very fun, very long game.
The high bar.
Been a pleasure to work for. What am I gonna call it? My password. Enjoy, well deserved, well deserved.
Six point oh two is superintendent communications. I'll turn that back over to Dr. Mitchell.
Okay, great. So, board members, I'm sure you saw the wreaths that were placed, in front of, the table tonight, and these were, made from, Secret High School ag students. So I just wanted to highlight that for you. So tonight, our culinary students made a great dinner, and our ag students made it. One thing I did want to bring attention to the board was on the calendar that we pass out to families. On January 13th, the day is listed as a professional development day. The calendar that we sent to the state has this as a regular school day. So we're in compliance with the state. What we're going to have to do as a district is just communicate this out to families. This is a regular school day, not a professional development day. So that's Friday, January 13th, and we'll be working on that communication. So if anyone's been following the paper, I know I've spoken with the board about this before, but the state, I think a few months ago, actually, they executed a grant that they received for water testing. So that did not go well from the state perspective. They, a lot of districts had pushed back, the community had pushed back to the Department of Education. So because of all that pushback, a new round of water testing is going to take place. So every district in the state will again have all the water tested. They're talking about consumption points. So basically, any water source that could be used for any kind of cooking or drinking water. So that is going to take place. The state goal is that all of the testing will be done by the end of February. We have not been contacted yet when our time will be. And if you remember, we did on the initial round of testing, we had one area, the old Katie Elfling area of the middle school. One particular faucet, we actually had to shut off before they even tested it. And now there's no faucet whatsoever to that area. So they're going to come back and test everything again. As a district, I'll communicate out when the testing will happen in Seaford. And then once the testing occurs, we should have results in 14 days. And from when those results come in, we'll work on a communication plan for our school community. So everyone can hear that. But if you keep following the paper, this keeps popping up a lot. I did want to highlight for the board that we had 2 schools recognized by the Department of Education. So we had a recognition school, and they were awarded this based on their performance of their English language learning. And that recognition school was West Seaford Elementary. And because of their work that they have done in years past, and also again last school year, we have a school of continued excellence at Blades Elementary. So again, I want to highlight that for the board. I wanted to publicly thank all of our schools for all of the winter events and concerts that have been going on. There's a middle school concert tonight, but the work that our students and our staff do to get our students prepared for these events is just phenomenal. I know when I walked into our auditorium that it's redone in that lighting. It looks phenomenal. The concerts, that is just another added touch. Besides the great performance, the atmosphere is really nice. So great winter, 50 nights, but a great winter of events. So 2 other things that I want to highlight is we continue to work very closely with emergency management, FEMA, our local police force, our local fire departments. And tomorrow, we're actually gonna have another tabletop drill. And what that means is we're gonna have a lot of the key staff members on site, police, et cetera, that I mentioned. And we're gonna be working through what it would look like if there was a situation at one of our sporting events at the high school. So our goal, as I mentioned earlier this evening, is safety and security. How we're gonna handle an event occurs. Our constables will be present, our SRO will be present as well. And we're really gonna talk through if there's a situation of a large gathering, how we handle that. We're gonna talk about what it looks like outside and inside, just so we're prepared. And the last thing I have, if you have time, please stop over to Frederick Douglass Elementary School. They had 2 students and a local artist who actually worked on painting a mural in their gymnasium. And it's beautiful. It's truly amazing. So if you haven't had the time, please stop over. I'm sure this is lovely. Love to see you. That's the updates that I have.
Very good, thank you, Dr. McCall. 6.03 is board communications. Tonight, I don't have anything to report as far as BFDA meetings. I will like to take this time, though, to personally, on behalf of the board, to wish all staff of Seaford School District a delightful and merry holiday and happy and blessed New Year. And thank you for all the work that everybody does for this district. And I say the same thing to my colleagues here on the board. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a great season. Only comes once a year, though, right? The only other thing I just want to mention in board communications, our next board of directors for BSDA will be January 4th, that I'll be attending, and also the next legislative committee meeting is February 1st of next year for BSDA. I'm sure at that meeting we will start rolling out the possible bills that are going to be coming out this new General Assembly. So that's all I have. Again, thank you and have a great holiday. Moving on, the next presentation would be 6.04, naming of the high school gymnasium court. In December, we received a proposal for naming of the high school gymnasium court from Mr. Michael Kraft and from Mr. Jerry Cavasso. And I want to thank you for that document that you sent us. And according to board policy, it's the obligation of the board president to form a committee to review that proposal and make sure that all the criteria and that policy is met. I formed a committee which consisted of myself, Dr. Nicholas, and Mrs. Savage. We met on December the 12th to review the application or the proposal, which I can say there is no one else that I can think of in this district that is most deserving and has earned such a distinguished honor as name of that high school court over here in our gymnasium. Mr. Baker has done phenomenal amount of work and dedication for this district in his term in working for our district. He has helped and developed umpteen students and reached many goals and awards, both conference, state, whatever. So in reviewing that, I think I can say for the committee that we are recommending to the whole board that we move forward with this. Tonight is just to present to the public that this is going to happen, and we will discuss it, and I'll give everybody a chance to say more to this in just a second. We will move to have a vote brought to the board in January. And some presentations on maybe how the embossing of the court with Dave Baker Court on it will be presented for us to look at and decide on. And also, as I mentioned in our committee meeting, there also, I think, needs to be a plaque that is going to be positioned at the entrance of the gymnasium beside Mr. Ben Sermon's plaque for the name of the gymnasium. So with that said, I will open the discussion. Any board member have anything to mention or add to that? Now, we're looking at, also should say, we're looking for some time, a home game in January to do a formal dedication once we vote on it at the January meeting. The floor will not be completed, of course, at that time. But we will have visuals or mock pieces to show what it will look like from the sign people that we might employ to do this. So with that said, I'll open it up for discussion. Anything to add?
I'm excited for it.
I am
Thank you for
too.
your letter. Thank you.
I say.
Yes.
The January meeting would be really good if we could try to get it, the third court, Dr. Nicholas and I thought third, fourth, we're trying to get Delano Michelle to come back. That's all for Delano. He's very excited about it. I'm trying to get him to come for slam dunk to the beach too. But I coached against Dave many times and we had some tremendous battles. He ended up buying our restaurant, which made me even happier. And he, as much as you say about Dave as a coach, he's a better human being. He is just one of the truest gentlemen that you'll ever meet. And he's special. So thanks for giving that consideration, really.
Thank you, guys.
And
It was, so I played freshman JV and he was my coach underneath that as a rolling down. So as well as your gym teacher, right? And strength and fitness and the weight trainer. So he oversaw that. So he made it on that floor, made a big impact on people, not just the male basketball players that came through that with everybody. So it's certainly the best way to honor his legacy in that school.
just think of having Mike on that team, how good he had to be.
I'm standing late for charge, but I like to do it. Maybe a foul on shoot a few of them. That's I had lost, so I think he rebounded the heck out of stuff. And that I was a slow white man.
Anybody else? So we will definitely get our ducks in a row and continue working on this and getting everything lined up. To carry out this procedure.
Are we gonna talk about what date we're looking at to get that out yet, or we're gonna wait?
Yeah, I think, remember the dates.
I remember the date, I remember the date.
On what? 131, is it 131? 131 is our home game, Woodbridge.
That's the one.
And that's the end before the line would have to get back for pictures of
Mhm.
Our board meeting in January.
right now. Yeah.
All right, so for the that's what we're shooting for.
117 is the board meeting, 131 is that.
Hey, very good. Thank you all again.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's so nice being back, seeing you guys. Merry Christmas.
Don't take it personally, okay? I know. Because you guys have a.
Yeah, really. We'll wait up, we'll meet you guys. Very ready. We have. Very good. to be back, brother. Thank you.
All right, before I move on to the action items, number 7, we're going to back up to a second to another presentation. Mr. Travis Major, can you join me up here, please? At a previous board meeting, we had our Friends of Seaford Education Award presentation. We had two this year. Mr. Travis Major, congratulations, you are one of our choices. And Friend of Seaford Education presented to Travis Major for the positive contributions to the students and staff of the Seaford School District, November of 2022. Mr. Major is a cupped hair for our students. Yes. Definitely an asset to help bring these students. We appreciate your effort and your constant support for Seaford School District. Thanks again. Thank you.
You have any help? Dripping away, cameras.
I can talk about.
And Seaford alum as well.
Oh, Yellow Blue Jay. No.
Right. So,
Right. Now, we're going to move into the agenda action items. It's quite lengthy tonight, but we will work through this. The first one is 7.01, school choice. Recommended action is to approve the school choice applications 2022-23-38 and 2023-24-01 through 2023-24-15.
This is Jeff Benson, and I make the motion that we approve school choice application 2022-23-38 and 2023-24-01 through 2023-24-15.
Marcus Rhoda, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the school choice applications as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Two is field trips. According to the agenda that you have in front of you, there are 5 field trips on this agenda that we are approve tonight. The recommended action is to approve the field trip agenda as presented.
this is 07, I move we accept the field trip agenda as presented.
Been moved and seconded to approve the field trip agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 7.03 is facilities request. There are none this evening, so we will move on. 7.04 is policy JJE, student fundraising activity. This is the second reading for that policy. And the recommended action is to approve the second reading of policy JJE, student fundraising activities.
Marcus Rhoda, move to approve the second reading of policy JJE, student fundraising activities.
Been moved and seconded to approve the second reading of policy JJE. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. In your packet, you should have a copy or online, you should have seen the original policy we discussed at the last board meeting and also the revised policy that we were voting on. 7.05 is policy KCD, public gifts/donation. This is the second reading for that policy. The recommended action is to approve the second reading of policy KCD, public gifts/donation.
This is 07, I move to approve the second reading of policy KCD public gifts and donations.
Been moved and seconded to approve the second reading of policy KCD. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 7.06 is policy KGF, commercial activities, sponsorships, and partnerships. Recommended action is to approve the second reading of policy KGF, commercial activities, sponsorships, and partnerships.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the second reading of policy KGF, commercial activities, sponsorships, and partnerships. That's what we do.
Marcus, Rayley, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the second reading of policy KGF. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. Seven point oh seven is policy KJA, booster organization. Recommended action is to approve the second reading of policy KJA, booster organization.
This is Darren Savage. I move to approve the second reading of policy KJA, booster organization.
Marcus, Rayley, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the second reading of policy KJA. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. Seven point oh eight is, policy DJG, vendor relations. Recommend action is to approve the second reading of policy DJG, vendor relations.
Marcus, Rayley, move to approve the second reading of policy DJG.
Been moved and second to approve the second reading of policy DJG. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. All right, that's all of our policies. Now we move into. Come on, let me take- Seven point oh nine is request for proposals for West Elementary parking lot improvements. And I will turn that over to Mrs. Brennan to give us some highlights of that particular improvements.
Good evening. I am speaking on behalf of Mr. Henry this evening. So we are coming before you tonight asking to approve going out to RFP for improvements to the West Seaford parking lot. What this will include will be the removal and replacement of the existing asphalt, improving the drainage that exists by the front entrance, and revising the location of two of the downspouts. And then also we will be doing some below grade piping to extend existing stormwater drains. We will be also looking to include an alternate, so depending on where the pricing comes in, if we have the funding, we would consider also installing a bus drop-off canopy. This is the one school where they're literally being dropped off, teachers, students, everyone. There isn't necessarily a designated lane with safety, as well as when it rains or whatever the elements may be, you feel them. So we are going to look to see if we can possibly do a canopy, which would extend the length of the bus parent drop-off area. It would have railing, so there would be security features included, as well as eliminate any vehicular cross traffic. If you're aware, if you go in that back entrance, I hate this, you can drive directly across like it over to like the back of the cafeteria. So we would be stopping and limiting all of that. It would also basically allow for rainwater to be collected and redirected so that you wouldn't be getting wet when gathering students to come into the building. Our plan is to have a pre-bid meeting February 2nd, with bids due the 23rd of February, and then we would hope to do construction in the summer.
Very good. Have any questions? I have none. Thank you. Recommended action is to approve the request for proposals for West Seaford parking lot improvements as presented.
Sarah Savage, I move we approve the request for proposal to retrofit elementary parking lot improvement as presented.
That is a second.
Then move the second to approve the request for proposals for West Beaver Elementary parking lot improvements as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 4-0. 7.10 is a change order for Central Elementary renovations.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you. So I'm going to quickly speak broadly about all of the change orders, and then we'll go into each one specifically. So the first, there is one change order for bid tax A. This is our contractor, DA Knoll, and it would actually decrease $35,000. So we will receive $35,000 that would be available to possibly expend. Then there are going to be 8 change orders voted on today that is part of bid tax B. This is with Delmarva Veterans Builders. This has a net increase, this would have a net increase of $20,800. Net total between the two packages, we would have a reduction of $14,200. And then we'll get to the 9th change order when we get there. So starting with the first one, this is a credit for unused allowance. This is a reduction of $35,000.
Can I clarify one thing?
Oh, sure.
So we grouped the change, these are change order requests, 1 through 8. That she's gonna present. So we reviewed these before, I wrote them as one change order. But to clarify, I think the state wanted to have
We have
each request
Yeah.
approved individually, so that's what we're looking for.
That's why we have to make a motion. for the-
Yeah, we've made a motion on the total before, but we didn't break it down as each request.
We'll follow, take care of it. Thank you, sir.
And if you want to go through each item, so then.
Yep. Well, we have to go through one and then vote, next one vote, and so on and so forth. So bid pack A, this is with DA Knoll, change order 1. This is a credit for unused allowance in the amount of $35,000.
So the recommended action is to approve Central Elementary renovation change order number 1 in the bid pack B as presented, which is now $35,000.
Sarah Savage, I move to approve the RFP SEA 21002 Central Elementary renovation change order number 1 bid packet A as presented.
Marcus Rhoda, second.
We move in second to approve RFP SEA 21002 Central Elementary change order number 1 in bid packet A as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 4-0.
Bid pack B, change order number 1 is with Delmarva Veteran Builders. This will furnish and install a new 2x2 foot grid tile and light fixture. This is an additional $1,129.
Recommended action is to approve RFP SSA 21002 Central Elementary change order number 1 in bid pack B as presented.
Marcus Rhoda, move to approve RFP SEA 21002 Central Elementary renovation bid pack B as presented.
Sarah Savage, second.
Then move in second to approve the change order number 1 in bid packet B as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 4-0.
Bid pack B, change order number 2 will cut 3 control joints and install helifics at a corner of the building. This is an additional $5,809.
Okay. Recommended action is to approve RFP SEA 21002 Central Elementary change order number 2 and bid pack B as presented.
Jeff Benson, I move that we approve RP SEA 21002. Central Elementary renovation change order number 2 bid pack B as presented.
Sarah Savage, second.
So moved in second to approve renovation change order number 2 and bid pack B as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries 4-0.
Bid pack B, change order number 3 is the elimination of the chimney remediation as part of the scope of work. This has a savings of $7,156.
$7,156.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Recommended action, excuse me, is to approve RFP SEA 21002, Central Elementary School, renovation change order number 3 in bid pack B as presented.
Sarah Savage, I move to approve RFP SEA 21002 Central Elementary renovation change order 3 in bid package B as presented.
Marcus Rhoda, second.
We move to second to approve the renovation change order number 3 in bid package B as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Bid pack E, change order number 4 is the painting of one additional wall. This has an additional cost of $219.
Recommended action is to approve RFP SEA 21002, Central Elementary School renovation, Central Elementary renovation change order number 4 in bid package B as presented.
Marcus Rhoda, move to approve RFP SEA 21002, Central Elementary renovation change order number 4 and bid packet B as presented.
Jeff Kinsler, second.
Been moved and second to approve change order number 4 in bid package B as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Bid pack B, change order number 5 will furnish and install brake metal to the top of 10 units and caulk the perimeter. This has an additional cost of $1,290.
Recommended action is to approve RFP SEA 21002, Central Elementary School, change order number 5 in bid package B as presented.
Jeff Kinsler, move to approve RFP SEA 21002 Central Elementary renovation change order number 5 bid package B as presented.
Marcus Rhoda, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the renovation change order number 5 and bid package B as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Bid pack B, change order number 6 will furnish and install 4 louvers. This is an additional cost of $3,531.
Recommended action is to approve RFP SEA 21002, Central Elementary School renovations change order number 6, bid package B as presented.
Sarah Savage, I move to approve RFP SEA 21002 Central Elementary renovation change order 6 bid package B as presented.
Jeff Kinsler, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the renovation change order number 6 and bid package B as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Bid pack B, change order number 7 was miscellaneous masonry repairs beyond the original scope of work. This had an additional cost of $10,458.
Recommended action is to approve RFP SEA 21002, Central Elementary School renovation change order number 7 in bid pack B as presented.
Marcus Rhoda, move to approve RFP SEA 21002, Central Elementary renovation change order 7 and bid packet B as presented.
Jeff Kinsler, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve renovation change order number 7 and bid pack B as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Bid pack B, change order number 8, the general contractor pays for the building permit. This is an additional cost of $5,520.
Recommended action is to approve RFP SEA 21002, Central Elementary School renovation change order number 8 in bid pack B as presented.
Jeff Kinsler, move to approve RFP SEA 21002 Central Elementary renovation change order number 3 bid package A. Excuse me, B.
Sarah Savage, second.
I just want to change it up.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the renovation change order number 8 in bid pack B as presented, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries until the
Bid pack B, change order number 9, we are not ready to vote on today. Seaford told us first the architect and the vendor being Delmarva Veterans Builders have not come to an agreement. Right now, this would be an additional cost of $10,244. And so we are still negotiating with them. We would hope to bring this forward to the January board meeting. We are hoping to resolve before December, but now we're looking at January.
Okay, so we'll table that till next board. meeting.
Yes, please.
Very good.
We just have one,
What?
They only have one.
That's all we know. Oh.
couldn't see that regard.
Seven point twenty, gate receipts, credit card fee. I'll turn that over to Mrs. Brennan.
Hello again. Moving from change orders into athletics. A few of us participated in 3 demos, Go Fan, Ticket Spigot, and we also reached out to the treasurer's office regarding their square. With the ultimate goal of improving security through potentially limiting the ticket sales based upon the capacity of an event. Also having the ability to modernize our list of potentially people who are not allowed to enter, which at the football game, there's a list of names on the inside, and you're kind of trying to figure out, you know, if a student is allowed to come in or if they've been kind of flagged as someone who cannot attend an athletic event. So after going through multiple demos, reaching out to other districts, and also just kind of looking at what our true needs are, we have the desire to go enter into a 3-year contract with GoFan. It is the platform that DIAA does use. The cost is $1 per ticket for tickets under $10. So what we have discussed would be that we would move to a general admission for in the moving forward. So we'd be starting at winter events, and then as we continue into next year, it would be general admission of $5 for JV and for varsity, and we would still keep senior tickets at $3. This is in line with what both Laurel and Woodbridge have done. They are both using Ticket Spigot versus GoFan. Personally, I sat through the demo, and I can tell you that GoFan has more security and more limitations in terms of really drilling down into who you're allowing into an event. Ticket Spigot does not have that capacity as of right now, and it would become more labor intensive for the district as a whole. But what we are asking for is that if this is approved, we would enter into a contract and we would have it in place before hopefully the first January basketball game. It would be online only for JV, you know, wrestling, basketball, girls basketball. And, you know, for those people who may not be tech savvy, we would definitely work with them. 1, to help them if they wanted to purchase a ticket, but then also 2, if there is a desire to purchase a season pass or something like that, we will work with them, and that would not be done through this platform.
So just for clarification, for winter, you will not be able to buy tickets in person?
That is correct.
That's the proposal.
I'm not a fan.
And we won't have the option for cash, correct? It's all on this.
I will say a lot of school districts are moving towards this in their, well, Apple does it, a lot.
Filtered. So what a lot of the schools have done, and we have the ability to really set a lot of the parameters. Number 1 is, let's say we have a game over there that allows 700 people. We can set up a page that in theory would allow 500 Seaford, and then we choose how many go to the other opponent. So it's not like it's one general page. The links in the pages would be separate. So there is control over the number of tickets per team. I've heard from other districts who are using this, and you're correct. I mean, across the state, especially after some of the earlier on in the season football events, lots of districts have looked into this, and One is, some of them shut down ticket sales as of Thursday or Friday. So you normally are not even able, whether it's a card or cash, to purchase tickets same day.
Right.
So one thing we can determine is when do we want to stop ticket sales? But then two, really limiting the cash, going to this controls how many tickets that we are able to indeed sell, and it will immediately stop when we hit 700 or whatever the magical number is. But then also, the security features that are in place, and I've spoken with, Mr. Coleman about this, is, we would be able to put in a list of students and they would not be able to purchase their tickets. Some of the school districts have such rigorous entry that, you're practically putting in your driver's license and all that. I'm not sure that's what Appoquinimink does. If anyone else, recently, yeah, that is too much. We would have the potential to do that, but we would build out our system for what works for us. But what this is doing is, I mentioned there's a $1 cost per ticket. We did not want to raise and be the highest ticket around and go up to $6, but at the same point, we have to kind of recoup the cost. So going kind of like our neighbors did to a general $5 across the board, general admission ticket for JV and varsity is the proposal.
What has been some of the drawbacks from the neighboring districts that currently use such a system?
I think, first of all, it really depends on your communication and your rollout plan. And, Mr. Cameron, Mr. Quillen, myself, and Dr. Nicholas have had a number of conversations, because especially before that first game, you don't want people showing up unaware of the fact that they can't pay any longer at cash at the door.
Right.
So I think really the onus and the responsibility is on us to be able to effectively communicate to our students, our community, our parents, our board, and everyone, how do you get a ticket if you want to go? That is probably like the only thing, but otherwise, people have said how easy it is. We talked to them about training, and it's very, very simple. If you've ever kind of went to like a restaurant and used the Squarespace and all that, it is, that is if you're dealing with a handheld, but you're also able to pull up on a smartphone, like, this is my ticket, it has your QR code, you scan it, you're in.
The one thing when there's not a signal weather associated. So it makes it.
That is a great question. So that's one of the reasons we also went with Bill Fan over ticket sticking. Mr. Cameron canceled the meeting right now, or not the meeting, the athletic event, the basketball game. You are getting a refund, a full refund of the fees and everything immediately. It's not like there's a processing of 5 to 7 days. So your money will be going back to you. And I think that was one thing that we thought was very fair. It shouldn't be that if our event's canceled, the vendor still gets money and we're only getting back a portion.
I feel this is gonna limit students attending events. That's my concern. If I'm a kid and I don't have a card and my mom is working or whoever, and I can't get a ticket online ahead of time. I'm not saying not that my vote is to not do it, but I think that's something to consider. You want to limit the number of students who can come support events.
Well, one thing we did think about was, and you're correct, as a high schooler, I did not have a credit card, I had cash. So whether it's parents or other students, if I give $5 to you or to someone else, and then you buy tickets for me. So people could be buying tickets on behalf, and you're able to go in and, 4 tickets is $20. So it's not like it changes based upon the quantity or anything.
So to your point, if I can buy a ticket for somebody else, if I'm on the list who can't come in, I can just give him my $5.
But you should be entering your name. Now, this does go back to,
I know, but I'm saying if you're saying I can buy a ticket for somebody else and I'm on 4.
right, but you're entering the name, at least how Appoquinimink has it set up, you're entering the names of the people who are receiving the other 3 tickets. I know this won't be 100% foolproof. There are people, you could buy a ticket for Tom Jones, and then I'm Tom Jones, but I show up and I say I'm Bob Smith.
Show you this and I'm in.
Yes.
So these are just things that I'm
Yeah.
offering, listening to the group to consider. If this is the route that we're going to go there. There's a lot of consideration.
And I think long-term, I mean, we talked about too, I mean, the use of student IDs as part of this. I mean, that I think may come into play at some point, you know, do we want to look at student IDs along with the ticket to ensure that the right person is really coming through the door? But I think the thought was that, you know, we need to first make sure we're solid in terms of our online ticket, our entry, making sure people are coming in and just not causing like a huge logjam or anything else. I mean, one of Mr. Colon's concerns was if you still do cash and you do like an online system such as this, he's gonna have more staff. So more staff then increases your cost in terms of running every single basketball or wrestling match. So, you know, he was more pro going in this direction of eliminating.
But I do think it's something we need to explore with our students.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, and this is something I know Sharon, you know, you are working with students out of the store, and voice and students that how they do. Just kind of see where. Because it's what, I mean, it's just like if there's somebody not on the phone or internet, we're always gonna take care of our people. But this whole premise is really grounded in that safety piece. If we start with safety, we make sure that access to it.
That's the balance that I'm looking for,
Yeah.
safety and access. Because really, if we're gonna be honest, this is all reaction, not us, but picking it up over the state is reactionary to potential situations that they want to avoid. And some of them in the foot in the beginning, so I don't just want to jump on it just because. I think we need to look at all angles of it. Because there's a lot to consider there.
Two other things, I know like when DIAA went to this, there was a lot of concern for that, and I haven't heard much pushback from the events they've been running, unless you're learning from Q. And then the other conversations I'm involved with is just having that much cash on site. That's the other balance, yeah.
We hosted playoff games last year, and this year, because we definitely had down in gyms were full, and people found on their way. We also kind of talked about, is there a way for us to set something up at the high school for students to get tickets that way through, I don't know, we've talked about that, but, you know, say Mr. Cole was selling tickets at a certain time and a card was used and they were given. Talk about some different things to flesh out that.
Yes, exactly. That's what, I love to see that stuff.
What's the goal for implementation?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, when is the goal for implementation?
Goal for implementation would be the first basketball game in January. However, the goal would be is get it in place. I just looked at the calendar. It's not really child high school anymore, is it? We have someone maybe the 5th, and then have it up and running and people fully trained, everyone acclimated to it, because I think the second game is Laurel or Woodward, no, Middletown. Middletown is the second. Right, so the thought is that Middletown will have a larger crowd coming to it, and so we want to make sure that we are really solid by then. Yeah. We practice that running go fan and do our clothes.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. We do have some, I guess, it'll maybe some hiccups, but it's going this way, so people will adapt, you know, with anything new.
I mean, at my business manager meeting, I think at another, a couple, I know the AD's meeting. I mean, this is, every single district is looking into this to the point of which someone brought up, should we be all universally going to one platform?
Right.
But the problem is now we have some people who've already signed in with Gold fans to a 3-year contract, and the ticket seems like it's maybe not as developed, and then people have already signed contracts with them. The pro of, you know, going with GoFan is they're going to provide us all the technology. We don't have to go and find an iPads or anything like that. They provide it to you during the use of your contract. So, I mean, they come in, they train, they outfit.
I think it's a good idea. I think we need to look at lots of other things regarding implementation.
And Mr. Cameron and I started to have some of those conversations. And I also think Mr. Cohen is also fully aware that he's been included in some.
Can you guys provide us with follow-up, during the next board meeting or February board meeting, let us know how the implementation rollout has been and what the hiccups we have?
Absolutely. I mean, the goal is that it should be seamless, but I mean, it's really the responsibility is on us to make sure that it is.
One last question, and I know this comes up with the online. How does that work with? I know one of the concerns has been the rosters and the coaching staff and all of that. Are they gonna have to go through a system, not to purchase tickets, but if we're talking about security for the names and the rosters and all of that? Is that completely separate?
That would be totally constant. This would just be for charging, consumers to
Okay,
receive a general admission.
check.
Any other questions? Recommended action is to approve the amended sport ticket prices due to the credit card processing presented.
Jeff Benson, I move to approve the amended sport ticket prices due to credit card processing as presented.
Marcus Rhoda, second.
Then moved and seconded to approve the amended sports ticket prices due to credit card processing as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 7.21 financial reports. Brennan, you're still on the floor.
Before you will have the fiscal year 2023 final discretionary revenue budget. This, just so you know, we started the year with a 98% guarantee of units at 248.92. And our final unit count number is 265.96. So this actually increased various allocations within Division 2, Division 3, and other state revenues. However, at the same time, and Cameron, if you could scroll towards the bottom, there was revenue that was previously in choice revenue from other districts. There was $10,000 there, and this has since been removed. There was actually a net cost for choice students of $145,000. In addition, there was a cost of $451,000 for charters. So the other item I want to point out is these numbers also do include our alternative reduction plan, which is $597,000 approximately. Moving on to the second page. This represents numbers through the end of November. That is 41.66% of the fiscal year. We have encumbered or expended just over $1.2 million since the November meeting. Across all funds, we have expended or encumbered 44.84%. There were unanticipated costs in the school choice charter. We had originally budgeted $450,000 here. That has went up now. Those are final choice charter numbers of $490,500. And this all does include some money coming out of tuition. The local salaries are trending in line. Once again, this month, December, is our second repay month. Moving on to our taxes. We received $125,535 of taxes in November. This represents 96.88% of our 2023 tax collection. We need to receive an additional $186,257 to hit our 98% taxable revenue. But that also does include our second tier property as well as general expense. So I'm very confident that we'll be hitting that number soon. Moving to our set aside, nothing has changed here since July. Finally, moving on to our monthly revenue report. In state funds, there was an increase of about $1.7 million since October. The majority of the funds, $1.3 million, came from state transportation. There were also increases in energy, Division 2, and we received our safety and security funds of just over $206,000. In local funds, there was an increase of $857,000. The majority of these fell across current expense, debt service, tuition, cafeteria, and match taxes. Finally, there was no change in federal funds. The next document, I want to go to alternative reduction plan. It's $250. The next document we're required to submit to DOE before the end of December is our alternative reduction plan. Our amount is $597,456.62. We are meeting this requirement by cashing in 6 units. We're contributing about $58,000 in cafeteria salaries, $14,000 in driver's ed, $35,000 in professional development, $13,000 in technology block grant, $15,000 in voc ed, and just under $1,000 in CPR. The next document is our enhanced NCI. So as part of the fiscal year 2023 bond bill, there was an additional $15 million that was added for LEA to apply for. Granted, we were told what amount we could apply for. So, and it came with some strings. So you have to have your current and prior NCIs encumbered or expended. So all of our 2022 to 2023 money has to be gone. But we are putting forward, and what we will be submitting to the Department of Education, OMB, and the Comptroller General's office is that we would direct these funds to partially funding the West Elementary renovation project that you heard about earlier in terms of us going out through the RFP. The last item I want to mention is actually not on one of these sheets. But previously I brought to the board that we were solicited, I guess, for a $16,000 scholastic donation for Blaze Elementary School. And I'm happy to inform we actually received $20,000. So every student at the book fair in spring will have 3 books, and plus there'll be additional books given to the library. So that's really wonderful.
Very good. Thank you. Recommended action is to approve the monthly financial reports as presented.
Chair Sanders, I move to accept the approve the monthly financial report as presented.
Marcus Rhoda, second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the monthly financial reports as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Item 8 is long range agenda, 8.01. Long range agenda items. 12/21, December 21st is PD Development Day, Special Development Day. 12/22 through January 2nd, the district is closed for the winter break. School reopens on January 3rd, 2023. District is closed on Martin Luther King Day, which is January 16th, 2023. And our next board meeting is the day after, January 17th. Is a board meeting at 6 p.m. Any questions or any additions? If not, we need to move to executive session. So I'm open for a motion to enter into executive session.
Marcus Rhoda, moving into executive session.
Chair Sanders.
Been moved and seconded to enter into executive session for personnel matters and legal updates. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0, and the time going out is 7:04. Again,